Okay, you're welcome, guys. So from our last video, this is where we stop actually. So we are progressing. So from this moment henceforth, you might not be seeing my desktop other than my Visual Studio Code environment. Okay, so what's the first thing we need to do here? The first thing we need to do here, just watch as we progress. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do here is what is your what's it called your bring up your okay, then your HTML structure. That's the first thing we need to do. Your HTML structure is the first thing we need to do. How do you structure your HTML? How do you structure it? And remember what I told us. If you can easily type HTML, then from the option, if it doesn't bring out anything for you, then you can just press control space. I think my network is not really that fast today. Then from control space, you can just select HTML5 from this option. Select what HTML5 from this option. So here, the only thing you need to edit from what you're having here is just your what's it called? Is your title, the title of the page, and the title says the basic language of the web, HTML. The basic language of the web, HTML. That's the only thing you're going to change here. That's it. The basic language of the web, HTML. So from here, you go to your body. Now, if you look at this page very well, when we talked about headers, I told us that we have six group of headers. That is the H1 to H6. Then looking at this web page very well, I can tell us categorically we have three headers here already, right? This first one is H1, while the second one is H2. Then this HTML3, what is HTML? I think that's H3. Yes. Obviously, you can play around your header to know which one exactly is H1, which one is H2, or which one is H3. So here I'm going to use H1. So you open your tag H1, open your tag H1, then you close it. Then I have just copy from the, you don't need to type them out, just copy from the text already provided, H1. You have it there, right? Then you move straight up to, what else do I have here? I have some links here. If you look at it very well, I have some links here: the blog, the challenges, the flexbox, and CSS grid. What we have here is called navigation. You understand? But I would love us to do a standard structure, but then let us do it as a beginner. You understand? As a learner. So for now, I'm going to okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Then we have your open your nav. You open your nav element. Then from the nav element, what do you have? From the nav element, you have what? Yes, you have your links. The link I told us, link is the what? Is the anchor tag. You use your anchor tag href, but then because the link are static, you use hash. That is a pound sign. You understand? Because the link, you are not going anywhere. Actually, it's just a demo. You are not going anywhere. It's just a demo. You understand? So you use this hash sign. Then you close your opening tag. Then what you have there, if you look at it, we have blog. put blog here, scale this. Then let me just duplicate this. Let me just duplicate, I think this, right? Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So the next one is challenges. Then the next one is less boss. Then the next one is CSS grid. CSS grid. Okay, so I'm done with my navigation. But obviously, if you just want to have a good what's it called, a good structure, let me put everything here, everything I'm having here, let me put them in another container called header. If you look at the mockup very well, let me show us. If you look at the mockup very well, let me show us that mockup. If you look at the mockup very well, you can see this, the code magazine and blog title, they look like header. So you can put it as header as well. You can put it as yes, I think the best thing is just header. So let me wrap everything into a header element. Header, then I'm going to wrap it here, then I'm going to cut this straight up, then put it at the end of my navigation. Remember I told us something when we save. Okay, can you see Prettier? I think I did a video on Prettier, if I'm not mistaken, the last time. If I did not, then let me quickly walk us straight to that right now. So this is what you're going to do. From this settings, go to settings. Remember, you need to firstly install Prettier from your extension. Search for Prettier. It's actually the first option. Prettier is the first option, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the first option. Prettier code, right? Let me show you this particular one is the first option. Once you have it installed and enabled, then you go to settings. Then from this search box in settings, search for default formatter. Okay, default formatter, you can see from here. And then I think you are supposed to be having, I don't know, maybe JSON language structure, whatever, but then you can set it to HTML. You can set it to code formatter. Can you see this particular one? Once you have it set, then your code will be behaving exactly just as mine. You understand? You can see when I put the header, at first I didn't start up with the header, but as soon as I put the header and I click on Ctrl S, I type header and click on Ctrl S, everything is well structured. You can see the right gap is being given, the right space and everything. So that is the effect. That's one of the features of that extension. So let's continue. So I have everything already in my header. So from this header now, if you can see, we can divide this web page. If it depends. Now, one thing I want you to know is the way we are doing it, you can do it in another way, you still get the same thing. You understand? So programmers, there are a lot of ways to achieve your design on the web page. So if your colleague is doing it in another way different from you, that does not mean you're wrong. In as much you get the output, then you're good. Just make sure your code is readable, your code is user friendly. Understand? When a layman lays their hand on your code, you're able to understand what you're trying to do. You understand? So here again, I'm going to structure this page again. I'm going to structure the page to, let me say, 3. I have my header. Let me say I have my article from this the basic language to this last paragraph of hopefully. Then the last part, I can have the related posts. I can make them one. Then the last one, copyright, I can make it footer, making 4, right? So let me open another. If you remember during our second class, I told us something about grouping. I told us about grouping elements. Now go back to that video to check all for those grouping elements. You can also use Google search. You have them. We have some default grouping elements in HTML like headers. We've used header. We have article. There are all sorts of them. We have navigation. But then if you don't know, maybe for example now, I'm dealing with head of the topmost part of a web page. Then I now call it footer. It does not make sense. You understand? Or I call it article. It does not make sense. But in this situation, you don't know maybe the grouping, the category of that group. You don't know the best name to give it. Just use your universal grouping element, which is div. So I can as well, instead of using header here, I can use div and give it a class name of header. But you know, we are not dealing with CSS, so I don't want to rush us into class or ID yet. So that is why I'm using basic and pure HTML. So then another article I'm going to use here is, like I said, you can use div. I'm going to use article in my own case here. I'm going to use article here. So article is also one of the default HTML5 elements. Article. Then I have my article here. Then inside my article, what did I need to have? What is the first thing? Another thing we have here, we have the basic language of the web. This is basically H2. So you have your H2 element, then you close it. Inside the H2 element, then what do you have? Just copy from your notepad if you want to copy, but let me just quickly write this. The basic language of the web, that is HTML. Good. So from here now, you can click on Ctrl Save as well. When you are clicking on Ctrl Save, whenever there's a space, Prettier will remove these white spaces. So if you don't want Prettier to remove your white spaces for now, don't click on Ctrl Save for now. So now with what we've done, let's check what we have so far. Let's see if we are rightly doing if you are doing the right thing. Let's check it out. Let's check it out if we are doing the right thing. So how do you check what we've done so far? Like I told us, there are 3 ways you can do that. If you have those extensions I mentioned earlier about, another extension you need to install is called what is it called? It's called Live Server. If you just go to extension dialog, search for Live Server. You have it installed. You can see I have it installed here. This is it over here. You have it installed. So when you have your Live Server installed, go back to my code. You have your Live Server installed. You can right click on your HTML and click Open with Live Server. If this web page is my code editor is maximized, there's another icon down here. You will see Live Server icon here. But for those of us that doesn't have the Live Server installed yet, just go to your. So I will have to open. Let me preview my full desktop now. So from here, just this is your index file. Then right click on it, or you double click, open with your default browser. Of course, your Google Chrome. Boom, you have this here. So let's check if what we have is the same. Let's check. Okay, very good. The code magazine. Okay, blog. Oh yeah, I think we have automatically Chrome will assign a blue color to your navigation link. You understand? Then we have the basic language of HTML. So from here, let's proceed to structuring our article, that is from the basic language of the web to this part in our mockup. Hopefully you learned something here, you learned something new here. See you next time. So let's structure that. So I'll be doing that in the next video. Thank you.